leads, it pays for the gas in your car, the electricity in your building. So it is really important. And like Sadie mentioned, happy clients are going to do two things. Happy clients stay with you and happy clients talk about you. So that's where, again, that's how you create that sticky client base, and that's how you truly make value in your business and start really making money is by that retention.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, you have to keep in mind that, one, we're in an industry that is very lead hungry. We want leads. We're trying to find leads. Whenever you start a business, we always say one of the first questions we get from new agents here is, how can you get me some leads? Help me with leads, all that sort of stuff. And that's totally okay. Leads are great. We're not here to bash leads or anything like that, because they are a vital part to your business. But they are only one part of your business, and your business will suffer if all you are is bringing on clients and then just bringing on more, and then the clients that you've brought on, those leads that you've turned into clients, start fizzling out because you're not retaining them. You're not doing anything to keep them on the books. And also, I mean, it's proven, like the numbers show that it's going to be, I think, I could be wrong about this, but it's like 6 or 7 times more cost efficient to maintain current clients than it is to bring one on. So even just the cost in general from that aspect of your business, like you're going to save so much more money, and you're making more money because of those residual commissions and all that sort of stuff. So yes, retention is key to a loyal client base. Let's jump here. Okay, so this is essentially our flow chart of what we say is a good retention process. So you have retention up here at the top, and there are 2 aspects to a good retention process. And we're going to break down both of these, really all 3 of these, and how they work, how they affect your client base. So the first one is customer experience. There's a big difference in customer service and customer experience. Good customer service is what should be your baseline, should be it's what people expect. You know, they expect good customer service because you're a business and they're going to you and giving you their money and all that sort of stuff. Customer experience goes beyond that. It's what they experience. It's how they feel whenever they leave. It's how they feel when they're with you. This makes a huge, huge difference. It's going above and beyond that service. Now we'll dive into that next. But the other aspect of a good retention process is number of products. It's what can you do for me? Are my needs being met? Again, we'll dive into this. We have examples on this, but the more products that someone has with you, the less likely they are to leave because they have everything with you. And the goal is to have both of these. Now, you see a lot of businesses that have one or the other, and they're successful, but they could be better. If you have both of these things and you prioritize both of these things in your end goal, you're solid. You have really sticky, loyal clients. So
we look at these looking at really emphasizing, and this is what makes this training so fun, is we look at 3 different companies that embroider or embody one of these things. And so we're going to be talking about how Chick-fil-A does business, how Apple Incorporation does business, and then how Amazon. So we do Chick-fil-A, Apple, and Amazon, and break down where they fit in on these types of retention practices, because all 3 of them are extremely well known for their retention for different reasons.
Yes. So diving right into the very first one, let's talk about that customer experience side. And whenever we were sitting down and talking about this webinar and building it, obviously the first thing that came to mind whenever it was customer experience is Chick-fil-A. I mean, you see YouTube videos, you see videos of people just ranting and raving about how much they love Chick-fil-A, and people keep going back, and yeah, their chicken is good, but people keep going back because of the experience that they have. They don't just give good customer service. Any place can essentially give good customer service because it's just what you expect. That's the baseline. Chick-fil-A goes above and beyond That's why
Yeah.
people keep going back.
I don't even like Chick-fil-A. Like, that's a hot take. I don't even like Chick-fil-A because if you don't like, I mean, I love chicken, but like if you're not in the mood for chicken, you're kind of SOL. It's chicken, fries, and pickles. And there's limited offerings. If you're not in the mood for chicken, that's not where you need to go. But I've yet to go past a Chick-fil-A and there not be an incredibly long line wrapped around the building. And I'm like, there cannot possibly be this many people who needed chicken to the point where they were willing to wait in line just for a chicken sandwich with a pickle.
Yes, exactly, exactly. That's why people keep going back. And the experience is just beyond, okay, let me start this. Above and beyond. And the thing about customer experience is to create a good customer experience, you have to be intentional with it. It's not something that just magically happens. It has to be something that you put systems in place where you are intentionally making that experience good. For example, Chick-fil-A does things like they have an organized and efficient process. Like she said, that line might be wrapped around the building, but you're going to get in and out. You're going to be moving because they have multiple people outside. They have people out there in the sun. They have people out there in the rain with those little plastic huts that they put over them with iPads. That's intentional. They're taking your name and then they're using it. So they're inviting you, they're making you feel like you're friends, they're making you feel like you're family, they know you, they're relating to you. Those little things, saying things like my pleasure instead of thank you. It's those little things that make the experience really big. It's the little things that people might not notice individually that make the experience completely different and unique.
I'd also say look at their commercials. You'll see some Chick-fil-A commercials, but very few of them are actually about the product. Very few is actually about the food that you're eating. A majority of the Chick-fil-A commercials are their interactions with their communities or their interactions with their consumers. They're talking about their donations. They're talking about the experience. They're talking about how well they get to know their clients. And so again, they're not talking about them having the best chicken sandwich. They're talking about the experience their clients have, which I say clients because the experience their customers have.
Yes, yes, exactly. So Chick-fil-A is the king of customer experience. Now, let's talk about how you can incorporate this sort of process, start being intentional about your customer experience and getting this one half of that retention system down. The very first thing is get your processes down. One thing that we love about Chick-fil-A is it's in and out. You know what to expect. They have their process down. They're efficient. They have people out there, but you don't feel rushed. You know what I mean? It's just a good experience.
Well, anytime again, your clients aren't necessarily buying your products, they're buying your process. The process is, what do they value? They could go to Google and find a cheap med sup by themselves. They could go to Medicare.gov and enroll themselves in their own Medicare Advantage or PDP plan. So the process, my biggest thing is if your appointment process is a 2-hour or appointment, you have, again, that's not something that's going to make people want to come back. It's all about their experience and how they felt. People don't remember what you said. They don't even remember what you did, but they do remember how you made them feel. And if they were incredibly bored or overwhelmed or just upset with that process, it doesn't matter how much you help them because they only remember what they felt.
Yes, a really great way to get your clients involved and to make them feel good and to start building that relationship is ask them questions to invite them into your process. Don't make them feel like you're just taking their order and then you give them, boom, here's your suggestion on what we should do. Ask them questions that aren't just yes and no. Ask them questions that make them speak up. Ask them questions that make them tell something about themselves to you. Invite them into that process.
Yes, yeah, evoke feeling. Feeling is sales is the transfer of emotion. So ask questions that get them to have feelings within that process. Absolutely.
Yes, and also healthcare in general isn't necessarily always the comfiest thing to talk about. It's not the cushiest thing. You know, you're dealing with seniors who know that in the later years of their life, obviously their health is going to decline. And so people are talking about their healthcare, and that's not always the comfiest thing. So also just making them feel like you're a comfortable, safe space to talk about that, getting them talking, inviting them into that process. Also just getting a process down also helps them to know what to expect whenever they come into whenever they meet with you. People love things that they can expect. That's one thing that people like about Chick-fil-A is they know whenever they get in the line, they know it's going to be quick and easy. People know the process, they know what to expect, so they keep going back. That's a really, really big thing for how people feel. Not having any anxiety on, I don't know what this is going to be like, I don't know how long this is going to take, la 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 la. Getting a process down sets up good expectations as well. Let's see. Okay, so getting your process down. One thing that we use here is the 8-step selling process. We do have a webinar about this next week. It's next Thursday, actually. So if you want to hop on that, we'll kind of dive into that. But we suggest 8 different steps. It doesn't really matter how many steps your process is. Just get it down. Start practicing it. Sit down, lay it out, and just start getting it down. The next thing here is 7 contacts. So this is, if you've ever heard us talk about retention on any webinar, you hear us talk about this a lot. 7 contacts is the 7 different ways that you are interacting, that you are reaching out, that you have a touch on your clients throughout the whole year, throughout all 4 quarters. These are things like thank you cards, these are newsletters, these are annual appointments and reviews. One really big thing that we like are client retention processes, client retention parties and events and stuff like that. Chick-fil-A does this one thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but Chick-fil-A does this thing where they have dress like a cow day. And it's a way to say thank you. And if you come dressed like a cow, you get like a free sandwich or something like that. And it's a way to just say, hey, thank you, we appreciate you. That counts as a contact. That's a client retention event. And so, or appreciation event, I guess I should say. So that's something that Chick-fil-A does. That's something fun that you can do. Have a barbecue, invite friends and families. It's another way to kind of get referrals and kind of meet other people as well, prospects.
The biggest thing there again is reaching out to them for things that you're not trying to sell them. They shouldn't, every time they get a notification, a phone call or something from you, they shouldn't be thinking, oh my gosh, really wanting to sell me this time. It's making sure that you're setting the expectations of a true relationship and not just an exchange or a sales-based relationship.
Yes, exactly. Also, keep in mind that social media is really, really great retention tool. We don't count it as one of your 7 contacts because it should be something that you are updating daily, weekly at least. And so it should be something that you're on top of. Facebook was created to be a relationship building tool. And so use it to do that. Keep your name in front of them. Keep your brand in front of them. That should be something that you're doing every day. But Facebook is awesome for retention and just creates more, I want to say creates more touches on your clients. That's a weird way to say that, but you guys know what I mean. The third and final thing that we, obviously these are just 3 suggestions, but the third thing we're going to talk about today is CRM. Now you might be saying, how does a CRM for me create a good experience for the customer? One thing about CRMs is they are mainly an organizational tool. So there's something to help you collect your thoughts, but they are really a relationship building tool as well. And I'll tell you why. It's because you should be documenting everything in your CRM. You should be taking notes on everything. I'm talking about like how many kids they have, how many grandkids they have, what their husband's name is, things like that. So that way, whenever you're going back into a meeting with them, you're reading their CRM profile, you know what to talk about. You're going back and saying, hey, how was your husband today? I remember last time we saw you, he broke his foot. How is he feeling now? Things like that can make a huge difference. Just think of times whenever you've been in a position where you think, oh my gosh, how did they remember that? It makes you feel so special. Olivia, I know that you have a story about who is your once hairdresser, well, still your hairdresser, but also your best friend now. You should tell that story because it's a really great one.
Yeah, that was whenever I moved to Colombia about, gosh, it's been almost 15 years ago. I moved to Colombia. and I was looking for a new hairdresser in a new area and found this place. She did a great job, nothing to be, upset about. She did fine, but whenever I went back to her about 12 weeks later, she was asking me questions about, at the time, the date that I was going to go on later, or I was in college at the time, so the exams that I was having. And she was asking me all these questions. I'm like, how does she remember that? I felt so special. I felt like I was worth paying attention to, and that she held, she liked me well enough to remember all this stuff. So eventually, like Sadie mentioned, her and I became best friends just because I would see her every 12 weeks and then we would hang out outside of work and all this stuff. So one day we were hanging out and I just kind of opened up to her. Like, I just remember feeling so special that I would sit in your chair and like I was worth remembering. And she just starts laughing and she's like, well, actually, I have a binder in the back where I put all these things down, things that you mentioned to me, and then before your appointment, I go back and read them and then bring them back up. I see, 15 people a day. I'm sorry that I didn't remember you the first 3 months that you were my client. And that was like, well, duh. But that's us, we always talk about how a lot of your clients, when you've been doing this for long enough, you start getting up to 300, 400 clients. All the stories start like running in together. So just those extra touches of asking them those questions and making them feel worthy and making them feel special. It's crazy what that will do for your retention and their experience. Again, they expect you to know them on a insurance level, on a financial level, but the experience of knowing them as me and remembering who I am was what made me come back.
Yes. I'm trying to think. I just thought of this. I might butcher this, but I don't know if it was Dan or I don't know if it was Clint, but it was someone recently that was talking about they had been taking care of this family, this couple for such a long time, and their daughter, they moved away, and their daughter, it was time for her to she was aging into Medicare, and she came to Columbia and she went to lunch with them, and all this person, this agent, I can't remember who it was, but someone that worked with us, all they were to them was the insurance agent, or all they ever did was sell them insurance, but they were so close and had been so bonded with their parents that it was obvious choice that they were going to get insurance from this person, and they were going out to lunch. She came into town, they went out to lunch. I mean, you'd think that they were just really, really good friends for a really long time, and they were, but it was just because this person was their insurance agent. And that's not something that just happens by accident. That's not just something that happens whenever people just come into your office and you take orders and you give it to them. Those things happen with little intentional things that make an experience good, that make an experience not just good, but great and above and beyond, and something that's hard to find other places. And so you have to keep in mind whenever you're taking care of these seniors, you also might eventually be taking care of their family. You're taking care of a family legacy. You're taking care of their health, and the little things in a customer experience really, really help with that. Now, we have the Chick-fil-A approach. We've talked about how the customer experience is huge. We can see it in Chick-fil-A. People keep going back for it, not because you can get everything from there. Whenever you go, all you can get from Chick-fil-A is chicken. And the experience is phenomenal. But if all you have is a good experience, but you don't have what the person actually wants or needs, like Chick-fil-A, someone who wants a burger or needs a burger is not going to go to Chick-fil-A, no matter how good their experience is. They're going to go to the place where they can get everything. I am number 4 out of 6 kids in my family. There's 8 of us, and you could always catch the Fraser family when we were all living under one household. We only went to places that basically offered every option there was, because there was no way you were going to be able, no matter how good the experience was, we were going to go to a place that offered all of the needs of all 8 of us, of all 6 crazy picky eater kids. And so let's dive into the other side of this, multiple products. So you have that customer experience. The other half is getting your needs met, having multiple clients stuck. The example that we use for this is Apple. Now, I would say that Apple probably in my experience, probably has one of the most like committed client base. And I can tell you why. Yes, I don't have my stuff. I have my iPhone, my iPad's out there, my MacBook is out there, my
And MacBook's
AirPods are
right
out
over
there.
there.
Yes. And Olivia and I are both really big Apple people. And we just showed you why. Saying
Can I
nothing
just
about
like
their
say, like I hate to interrupt this, but I will be the first to admit, Apple has terrible customer service. They are not easy to work with. They are not easy to buy from. And I will tell you what, and I will admit, I hate to admit this on here because our good buddy who works with us, Ben, is an avid Android user and we give him so much heat for it. But Androids make better phones. Androids have better things like that. But I'll tell you what, my Apple phone works with my Apple iPad, works with my Apple Watch, works with my AirPods, works with my Mac. If I introduce an Android phone into this, the system completely breaks down. I buy Apple products because they work together. You buy one and you essentially are buying a comprehensive technology package that all work together. Just gonna throw it out there.
Yes, Ben just commented, this is messed up. We give him so much crap for being the only Android user, but really when it comes to it, he's brave because he broke out of the Apple, he broke out of the Apple kind of like cult following. But here's the thing, I don't get Apple products because I'm going to expect the greatest customer experience in the world. That's not how it is. New fancy phones come out all the time, but I'm not looking at anything but Apple because like what she said, I have my AirPods, I have my MacBook, I have my iPad, all these things. If I walk into an Apple store, I know that I'm going to be able to get all of my tech needs met. All of them are going to work together. If I just walk in there for an iPhone, I know I can get a case. I know I can get a speaker and headphones and I can get all of the things. That's why people keep going back to Apple, is because they're stuck, and not even a bad way. I'm not complaining that I have all Apple products, but
I'm berating Ben because he has an Android. I'm willing to admit that Androids may have better phones, but I'm making fun of Ben until I'm blue in the face because he's rocking an Android when I'm rocking an iPhone.
The texting features are really where Androids fall, but we won't get into that. We're just saying that because Ben's on here. Ben, you heard it. We said it loud and clear. But but again, super loyal Apple fans here. Let's see. I lost here in my notes. Oh, yes. Okay. And we also have, so multiple products mean multiple needs are being met. If you walk into an Apple store, like I said, you're able to get all of your tech needs met, and you know that. Now, complementary products. Here's another thing. This is what I was saying. If you can walk into an Apple store and you're going to get a MacBook, or you're going to get a MacBook. You walk in, you know that's what you need. But they have all of these extra things as well that might make your not doing a good job of explaining this.
Well, it makes your experience better. So you go in for the app for the Mac. They're going to have backup drives for you. They're going to have the cases that you need. They're going to have the mouse that you need, the special mouse, the Apple Pen, everything that goes to make that experience better. You may not have gone in thinking, this is what I need. I need to have all these accessories with my Mac, but they do a good job of selling you a holistic package. Same thing whenever I was shopping again for my Apple Watch. They had so many different cheaper other options that may have been better options for me, but because again, I went to one place that was able to facilitate all of that, it made sense. And I'll tell you why. I am not going to now buy an Apple or an Android phone because it disrupts my process. We had a lot of conversations. We look at Medicare Advantage. A lot of conversations of people switching because the Joe Namath ads and the Joe Montana ads is switching. If you can convince your client that, hey, you should not switch coverages without talking to me because it could easily affect your entire package that I built for you. That's what the Apple approach did to technology, and that's what we want to make sure you do with your clients. It's making them really make sure, like, second guess moving from you because they don't want to disrupt how their entire package works with each other. So we've kind of broken this down into two ways. One of them is talking about what you do with your med subs. The other side is talking about what you do with your Medicare Advantage plans. So we're playing this out as the Medicare supplements and your PDPs. Those are the base plan. That's walking in and getting the MacBook, walking in and getting your iPad. That's why your clients are there. Your clients are in that chair to talk about their what we call their core product, being that. The ancillary stuff, the cancer, DBH, all that stuff is the things that come with that you're just automatically assumed you're going to be talking about because they go with that MacBook product. So again, we talk about dental, vision, and hearing. We talk about cancer insurance, home health care plans. You don't go, that your clients are not going to ask you about those products. Those clients are not in that chair to talk about those products. But the only way you can make the most out of that Medicare supplement is adding all those additional products and how they work with them. So how do they talk about you need this extra mouse? Whenever you're in the store, any mouse will do. You can buy a cheap mouse off of Amazon, but how do they talk about the Apple mouse when you're buying your book? When you're buying your MacBook, they're saying this one is designed specifically to go with you. It can be customized to fit exactly what you need this mouse to do for you and your computer. Do you edit videos or do you use this for business? Tell me what you're expecting out of your MacBook. Let me customize everything that comes along with that so that it's specifically used for how you're going to use it. What you're expecting out of your MacBook is not what your neighbor, what your cousin's going to expect from theirs. So let me customize this with all these extra add-ons for it to fit exactly what you need. Again, for the med side, that's dental, that's cancer, that is home health care. And we can spend some time, I'd love to at the end, to talk about why we choose those products, but those are the top 3 that I'm going to recommend your add-ons for the med sub. For the Medicare Advantage side, same story. Again, we talked about those Joe Namath ads. What we saw in 2021 AEP was a massive exit of Medicare supplements over to the Medicare Advantage side. And here's what's really interesting. We did see a huge amount of numbers of call centers, but our agents, our face-to-face agents, we also saw massive jumps in their production as well. So that's what that's telling me is that the Joe Namath ads aren't necessarily stealing your clients. We hear that a ton, that Joe Namath is the devil and they're stealing your clients. What Joe Namath did do was educate your clients on what a Medicare Advantage plan is. So you're still able to take advantage of that client's education. You just need to make sure that you can close your clients. Don't let Joe Namath close your clients. He's letting them know the option. You need to make sure that you have a sticky enough client that they're not calling the 1-800 number. They're calling you. And it's your job to educate your clients about what they have offered to them. It's their job to say no. I think we're really getting into the point of being in an existence as an insurance agency to where we're going to have to start actually having clients sign off on I am declining a hospital indemnity plan. I'm declining a cancer insurance plan. I think we're getting to the point where our E&O is going to start requiring that. Because we talk about if a person gets diagnosed with cancer, that $0 premium turns into $629 really quick with a cancer diagnosis because they're responsible for 20% of their chemo payments on most Medicare Advantage plans. If you don't tell a client that, and they now went from a $0 premium to a $629 premium, and you don't think your butt is on the chopping block, I'm just saying we're getting to the point where we're going to have to start having clients say, I denied this coverage in order to protect us and to protect our E&O. So that's exactly what we're talking about when we're bringing these ancillary products into the Medicare Advantage realm. Hospital indemnity is an absolute must. I actually was on a conference yesterday and I heard hospital indemnity was the lazy agent's method because it was a duh. It no longer requires a sales process. You just have to educate them on that. And I was like, well, I think I would love to work with more lazy agents that want to talk about hospital indemnity plan. But hospital indemnity is on there. Cancer is the same way. Those are the 2 top plans that do affect the cost of Medicare Advantage plans. Those are the plans that are customizable to truly help a client make sure they're getting the most out of that comprehensive benefit package. I'll also say, just to keep in mind, guys, dental, vision, hearing is not listed on here, but with Medicare Advantage, like extra ancillary products, keep in mind, dental, vision, and hearing, 80% of clients who switched Medicare Advantage plans, and this was in 2019, 80% of them switched solely based on the dental benefits. So don't underestimate those little things that you don't think like it's just kind of a bell and a whistle. Don't underestimate the importance levels that clients put on them because it is significant. So again, we talk about multiple product lines, but it's unfortunate. What I want to accomplish with these multiple product lines is I want you to do what Apple has done to me. I'm terrified to switch even one thing to Android because I don't know how it's going to mess up everything else I have going on. I won't do. I know Android has cooler, prettier, better phones. I'm too afraid to switch over because I'm afraid about what it's going to do to my entire technology package. Your clients, that's an extra level of protection for you to make sure that even if you have the worst customer experience, there should still be something to stop them from wanting to move on to somebody else.
Yes, yes. And also, you know what to expect from Apple products. To kind of like tie that back into it is if I have all of my stuff with one company or with one agent, I know what to expect.
Right.
There's nothing new. I don't have to learn a new process or go to 2 different places. I can get all in one place and I know exactly what to expect. So yes, exactly. So now that I'm gonna sneeze, I think.
I'm glad to be on this journey with you on your sneeze.
Okay, I'm not. I'm off my allergy meds this week. Okay, so the next thing, that was a fun little ride there. Okay, so now we've talked about the 2 different sides. We've talked about that Chick-fil-A approach, that customer experience. We've talked about the multiple product lines, having loyal clients stuck because they have all your products. They have all their products with you, that Apple approach. And now we're going to talk about the holy grail of retention and what that is. Essentially, what we're saying is to combine both of those things, you get Amazon. What we mean by that is Amazon gives you a great experience from the start to end, and you can get everything that you need. Whenever someone needs something, I'm like this. I am an avid Prime user. I am so pro Amazon. I know that it's kind of controversial or whatever. Keep those opinions to the side. It's so convenient and it's so great, and I'll always be a client because, or I'll always be a customer because whenever I'm like, oh, I need something, the first place I go to is Amazon. I don't get up and go to Target. I don't get up and go to Hy-Vee or wherever. I open up my phone app and I go to Amazon and see if I can get it there. It has so many options for everything. You can literally get everything that you need. It is a one-stop shop and the experience is great. Whenever I open up my app, it has suggestions based off of what I've bought in the past, what they think I'll like. It has multiple options. Also, it makes it so easy to buy things. The other night, I'll give you an example. The other night, I was at a Casey Musgraves concert. I love Casey Musgraves. And she went through a phase where she bought a karaoke mic and she was singing it a lot. And then she was like doing karaoke on the stage. I quite literally went to Amazon right then and there, clicked on a karaoke mic and bought buy it now. And it immediately bought it. I didn't even have to do add to cart or anything like that. I just clicked buy it now and it bought it for me. I love how easy that is. My husband doesn't love that feature, but I love that feature.
This is like whining. It's like, don't drink and drive. Don't one click buy and drink. That's my problem. It's Chris time at my house because I'm like, I don't remember buying that, but congratulations to me. It is, and it's something again like a store with me. My husband and I just had this conversation. We were talking about he was wanting to replace some outlets going on. He said, well, I've got to go to Lowe's later this week, and I was like, why? Let me just buy it on Amazon. Like he was physically going to be at Lowe's later that week. I was probably going to get it sooner if I just let him buy the stuff. And I was like, no, I'm just going on Amazon. I'll get it a couple days later. So you know what to expect. You know those expectations. And more importantly, if things go wrong, you're not SOL. I've returned so many things to Amazon with them not even questioning them. Just send it back to us. We'll take care of the rest so often. So not only, again, does the experience, not only is it like convenient, I get everything I want right there, but again, the customer experience, and I don't expect to be able to return something that's damaged that I damaged. Amazon's just like, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. We'll send you something new before you even send us that. We'll send you the replacement. That's not something I expect. That's the experience you get with Amazon.
Yes, exactly. So hopefully you all kind of understand all 3 of these different things, why Amazon is such a good example of combining both of those 2 things, why good customer experience on its own and having all your products in one place on its own just won't be something that's sustainable, won't be something that won't create the stickiest clients that are possible. So like we said, great customer experience with that multiple products. That's what's going to create your loyal client bases. We see this with our top agents. We see their retention processes. We see their system and processes. We see how they treat. Yesterday, Olivia, you said an example of we were talking about admin staff actually specifically, but you know that whenever you walk in there, they're one of our top agencies. They have all the ancillary products. They have awesome processes to make it easy to say yes, all that kind of stuff. But people get excited to go there because their experience is so good. They're friends with the receptionist. They're friends with the admin staff. They're excited to go in there and make appointments because they're excited to see the people. That's a great example of really good customer experience, building those relationships, and also being able to have all of your needs met and be able to get all of your products in one place, so much so that they will not be tempted if they are marketed to anywhere else. That's the goal. That's how you create loyal clients. So, Olivia, do you have anything else to add before we wrap this up for questions?
No, I think the important thing to mention though is that just to keep in mind that when people are buying insurance, they're actually buying you. Throughout this entire thing, we've talked about 3 companies, and not once did, except for maybe the Apple one, not once did we talk about the integrity of the product that we were purchasing. We didn't talk about how delicious Chick-fil-A's food was. We didn't talk about how great the Apple iPhone is or the Apple products are. In fact, we talked the opposite with a lot of Apple stuff. And we didn't talk again about all the quality products you can buy from Amazon. We talked about the experience. We talked about everything outside of the physical product. Us as insurance agents, you know, Joe down the street or Joe or the agent in a call center, they have the exact same products that I have. We are not differentiated by what cancer policies, what Medicare supplement policies, what Medicare Advantage policies. We all sell the same stuff. So we need to focus on what does set it apart, and that is our value add. These are 3 different avenues on how your agency will add value in addition to the products that you offer. So just keep that in mind. We do a lot of product specific training, a lot of product specific webinar, but the product isn't what people are investing in, isn't what people are buying. They're buying you. So just keeping that in mind as well.
Yes. Alrighty, so now it's time for questions. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, let us know in the Q&A box. Let us know if you have, we want to hear from you if you guys have a retention process, if you have something set in place, if that's something that you actively think about and you actively plan on. No worries, yes or no, but we want to hear from you guys. See if that's something that you're already doing. Let us know, duh, I already know all this stuff, or let us know if you learned something today, if you took away anything. But like I said, I love retention so much because I feel like it's that little nugget whenever, especially for newer agents, once they realize that they don't have to be stuck in this perpetual loop of just constantly finding leads and constantly paying for leads. And they really see the value in maintaining the clients that they already have. I mean, it's awesome, and their business starts to grow so fast. So yes, and then we have a retention white paper that we'll be putting in the follow-up email, as well as any other resources that I might scrap up here, and the recording of today. Let's see. How does an agent's hospital indemnity plan compare to the ads for Aflac?
Great question. They work the exact same. That's something that Aflac has done a fantastic job on. It's kind of like putting in, like educating our clients for us, so when we bring it up, you know, they're familiar with it compared to before. Biggest thing I would mention is make sure you don't say do what Aflac does. Don't say a hospital indemnity plan. We call it a hospital benefit because indemnity sounds complicated. It's jargon. No one understands it, but they work very, very similar. The biggest difference is that because these are more geared to people over the age of 65, the underwriting is a lot of times extremely easy for the most part. They're geared towards individuals who the utilization is more likely to be there. Aflac has incredible products, but they are not geared to the turning 65 market. I don't know if anybody remembers, like I think it was, gosh, it had been like 10 years ago now, 9 or 10 years ago, when Aflac came into the med supp market. It is now a dirty word in this industry.
Okay, great question,
Mary
Linda.
asked a great question. It said that if I set up a webinar, is it ideal to call next day like you do? So my personal opinion on that, Terry, is that anytime you do any type of event like this, whether it be a face-to-face event or a webinar, these are great. These are wonderful. They build warm and fuzzies. It's great at building brand recognition and name recognition, but we don't get paid just doing webinars. We only get paid as agents whenever we make applications. So two things need to happen, Terry. You either have to have an extremely strong call to action, or you do need to do a follow-up phone call. And I'll tell you what, I'm much more wanting to get your clients to call you versus you call them. Because right now, you guys love us. I hate to put a spotlight on you. Right now, you love us. You think we're the smartest people in the room. You're like, why don't I write all of my business through senior marketing specialists? But those feelings are going to fade because you're going to go on to the next thing. For me, that next thing is lunch. When we call you tomorrow, you might be thinking, oh, I'm on to something else. I've done 50 other tasks since I attended that webinar today. I don't have the time to call you. Versus why should we, and we should be taking our own advice, but maybe we should be doing something to where you have these warm and fuzzies right now. How do we capitalize on that right now? That's what the point is with you and your clients. And so next day follow-up, that's great. That's wonderful. Absolutely do that. But find a really strong call to action to get your clients to call you from that webinar.
Yes, that's a great question, Terry. Alrighty, if you have any more questions, we'll be here for about another minute or two. Make sure to check out our events page. We talked about that 8 selling step process webinar that we have coming up next Thursday. That's a really awesome webinar. It's something that...
Well, I'm looking at that, Sadie. I don't think that's next Thursday.
Are you sure?
I have that in March.
I'm the one who does the scheduling, but I'm still probably wrong. So check out the events page. Don't listen to me. Do as I say, not as I do. And well, no, that doesn't apply here. I'm saying something wrong. Check out the events page. You'll see the 8-step selling process webinar on there, as well as a lot of other events. I was so excited whenever we planned Q1 because we have some really, really awesome webinars that are going to be great. We have a webinar that we're going to be doing talking over the taxes side, that financial side of a business. We have a webinar coming up with our one and only Dan Mangus talking about our acquisition pathways division of MMG now. We have lots of really good stuff coming up, so make sure to check out that page. But it does not look like we have any more questions. So thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really hope that you took something away from today, even if it's just little nuggets. Look out for that follow-up email. Be listening for that follow-up call. We're excited to continue the conversation with you. And thank you so much for joining us on these webinars. And if you have contracts with us, thank you so much for trusting us with your contracts and trusting us with your back end side of your business. So yes, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Bye.